They don't need to see your weakness to destroy you. They just need to believe it's there. Because in the real world, perception is more dangerous than reality. You could be unbreakable inside, but if you look fragile, they'll treat you like prey. That's the truth Machiavelli understood better than anyone. He didn't survive because he was the strongest in the room. He survived because he made people think he was untouchable. And it worked. Because most people don't care who you really are. They care about who you appear to be. Psychologists call this social perception. Our brains are wired to judge someone's status, strength, and credibility in the first few seconds. We don't wait for facts. We go with the image. This is why people treat confidence as competence, why silence can be scarier than a threat, and why showing pain is often riskier than feeling it. Machiavelli warned, "Everyone sees what you appear to be, but few know what you really are." Translation: your image is your armor, or your invitation to be attacked. And that brings us to the next point. What if you could control that image so precisely that no one ever knew how to reach you? If they can trigger your emotions, they can predict your next move. And if they can predict you, they can control you. That's why the strongest people in any room aren't the loudest. They're the coldest, the calmest, the ones you can't read. Because in the game of power, emotional reactions are signals, and every signal is a vulnerability. Think about it. When you get angry, they know what buttons to push. When you overshare, they know where you're exposed. The more emotional you are, the easier it is to maneuver you like a pawn. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He believed that emotional people aren't just weak, they're dangerous to themselves. They act on impulse, then apologize. They speak first, regret later. They don't move with strategy. They move with feeling. But you don't get to move that way. You replace the question, "How do I feel?" with, "What does this get me?" That's the mindset of someone who survives, someone who leads. Because while the world screams for attention, the real player watches quietly, calculating, absorbing, planning. This isn't about being numb. It's about being sharp. Because your emotions don't belong in the hands of strangers. They belong in the vault of your mind, behind 10 layers of silence. And that silence? It's not emptiness. It's strategy. The less they know, the more they fear. Silence isn't weakness. It's a weapon. When you speak less, they start to fill in the blanks. And most people don't imagine safety. They imagine danger. Machiavelli didn't trust transparency. He trusted ambiguity. Because when no one knows your next move, your potential becomes limitless and terrifying. Psychologically, this is called uncertainty aversion. Humans hate not knowing. It creates anxiety. That anxiety turns into caution. That caution keeps people from crossing your boundaries. This is why unpredictability is more powerful than consistency. When you're silent, calm, and unreadable, you shift the balance of power, because now they're reacting to you. The moment you become predictable, you become manageable. But when people can't guess your intentions, they don't know whether to challenge you or run, so talk less. Reveal less. Let them wonder. Let them make the mistake of underestimating you. Because while they're trying to solve the puzzle, you're already 10 moves ahead, setting traps they don't even see. And this brings us to the next layer of control, your image. Because looking invincible is sometimes more important than actually being invincible. You don't need to be powerful. You just need to look like someone no one wants to test. History isn't filled with the strongest survivors. It's filled with the ones who knew how to control the story others believed. Because real power It's rarely visible, but perceived power. That changes everything. People obey the image, not the reality. That's why Machiavelli didn't preach brute force. He preached the performance of dominance, the posture, the presence, the precision of someone who never reveals pain. Because the second you show the world you're bleeding, it stops seeing you as a threat and starts treating you like prey. You can be shattered on the inside, but if your exterior is calm, focused, and immovable, they'll hesitate. And hesitation is an opening. The truth is, the world doesn't care how much you're suffering. It only responds to how you present it. Show confidence, they assume competence. Show detachment, they sense control. Show nothing, and they start to imagine everything. It's not about lying. It's about mastering your projection. Your image is either a fortress or a blueprint for your destruction. So build it carefully. And next, we go deeper. Because while you're mastering your image, there's something even more dangerous hiding. Loyalty feels noble until it fails you. Because no matter what people say, loyalty is rarely about you. It's about what they get from you. Machiavelli knew this. He didn't put his faith in loyalty. He put it in leverage. Here's the uncomfortable truth. People are loyal to their interests, not to your character. The moment your value drops, so does their devotion. You think someone's loyal? Take away their benefits and watch how fast their tone changes. This isn't cynicism, it's psychology. Game theory tells us that in uncertain environments, people act in ways that maximize their personal outcomes. That includes betrayal, if the conditions are right, so don't build emotional attachments. Build dependence. Make people need you. Control access. Be generous enough to keep them invested, but never so open that they forget who's in control. Loyalty based on fear of loss or need for gain will outlast any loyalty based on affection. It's brutal, but it's real, because someone who loves you might still leave when it's hard, but someone who fears losing your presence or influence, they stay even if they hate it. So when you build relationships, don't ask, do they care about me? Ask, what do they stand to lose if I walk away? Because only then do you hold the power. And now comes the final piece. The art of invisibility. The kind of presence that dominates without ever stepping into the spotlight. Power that can be seen can be attacked. But power that can't be tracked? That's untouchable. The most dangerous person in the room isn't the loudest. It's the one who doesn't need to be seen, heard, or liked, but still controls the outcome. This is the final evolution. You disappear from their focus but stay in control of their environment. You stop chasing recognition, attention, validation. Because all of those things come with a cost, visibility. And visibility makes you predictable, attackable, exposed. Machiavelli warned, the prince must learn to be both beast and man. And the deadliest beast is the one you never see coming. So step back. Withdraw from the spotlight. Let others take the credit. Soak up the praise. Absorb the heat. You don't need the credit. You control the board. Let them guess. Let them scramble. Let them burn themselves out, trying to understand your silence. Because while they over-explain, overshare, and overstep, you're already moving in shadows, building leverage, watching it all fall into place. That's not detachment. That's domination without exposure. And when you finally act, no one sees it coming. You don't need to be feared. You don't need to be loved. You need to be in control. Control of your image. Control of your emotions. Control of your relationships. And above all, control of your reactions. Machiavelli never waited to be protected. He made himself untouchable by mastering perception, leverage, and timing. Because the moment you start reacting, you've already given up the advantage. But when you move with silence, when you strike without warning, when you vanish before the dust even settles, you become something else. Not a person, a presence, a force that isn't challenged, only avoided. So let them underestimate you. Let them talk. Let them think they're winning. And when it matters, make your move precisely, quietly, without mercy. Because in a world that feeds on weakness, the ones who survive aren't the loudest or the strongest. They're the ones no one sees coming. If this hit deeper than you expected, it's because it exposed a part of you that's been waiting to take control. Don't just scroll. Don't just forget. Own it. Click subscribe, turn on notifications, and step into a mindset built for power, not approval. Because from here on out, you move differently.